Hi, gang. This is Hexy. I apologize if I sound a little scratchy, but I'm struggling with some virus. Don't know if it's the Rona or not, but it's kept me down for about 2.5 days now. But thought maybe we would go ahead and finish up SCS Ardennes after 13 game turns. We made it to December 28th. Just don't have any more push left in the Germans. And of course, the Allies are starting to, the flood of reinforcements and going into certain locations are just pretty much that's hampering the Germans' ability to progress. And okay, so this is so far since I've come back to playing games. This is the best Bulge game that I've played. Now, this is just my opinion. Okay, everybody has their different tastes, but this one here has been the most fun for me. And funny that I say that because I didn't make nearly the ground in this game that I have in other Bulge games that I played. So, of course, the SPI Vokdom Rhyme that I've had for years and years and years. I haven't played that since I've come back, but that's always been my favorite one. So, of the ones that I've played in the last year and a half, this is number one for me. So, let's take a quick look around. Take a look at some of the... I never remember how to use this thing. So there's all the casualties, and still it's a lot for the Allies, but since the last time I filmed this, you can see that a lot of the German casualties have started to increase too, okay? So we broke out of Houffalize after taking it, and just could not get any farther in that intersection right there to the east of Manhay. And the Allies there's more troops coming in there. They've got 2 or 3 more columns that are going to come on. There were no special rules that I saw for the Brits having to stay behind the Meuse River. So, unless I just completely missed it. So I moved them forward. They're already making hay here in the Bastogne. And you can see that the Germans had just not been able to take Bastogne and get that crossroads or even get around to encircle it and cut it off. To the north, well, eventually we did get Saint-Vith. So there's 3 victory points there. There's 1 for Houffalize. I haven't looked at the totals yet. We didn't take Bastogne, so it looks to me like they've taken 4 victory locations. They didn't take Elsenborn. Not enough force over there because I decided to pull all the Panzer, all the mobile units away. And then I returned 12th SS to help finish off Saint-Vith, which they did. Could they break out there? Yeah, but there's no follow-on force. I'd have to shift something else. And so in typical Bulge fashion, as you start to move forward with the German forces, there's just not enough behind it to screen the flanks, or there's no mobile reserve behind it to get through these holes and move on. Now, I think what they did in this game with the mobile supply units that the Germans have, there's your supply for these units moving forward. So I think you have 6 of them, period, in the game, and they all start on the map in the campaign. And as they move, you could move them with the units that are breaking out to keep them in supply, but then you would probably have trail units which would not be able to get them. They would be out of supply because the distance would be, it's 10 movement points mechanized. And trying to keep those things spaced so that everybody's in supply it's okay at the start, but after you start to move forward and break out and stretch this pocket, it becomes tougher. So I think it's actually a decent supply rule for this game here because if you didn't have these, your spearheads just literally would have to stop. I mean, or you'd have to have some generic supply rule to account for that. So I kind of like the 6 supply unit, mobile supply unit. Plus you have the dumps for the Americans on the map. And the Germans took 2 of them, Saint-Vith and Houffalize. And of course, there's 3 groups. And within those 3 groups, there is 1 dump that will actually be able to be converted to a German dump. And fortunately, the Germans got lucky. And Saint-Vith and Houffalize were both actual converted dumps. So, Wiltz there, it took forever for the Germans to take Wiltz, which to me, now that I'm through the game, that objective should have been more important. I should have had more focus on that because of the road network that comes across the rivers here and around the backside of Bastogne. The Germans got across to Edelbrook. But not being able to have a mobile supply unit over there, they had to trace 5 hexes back to the river there near Weiden. So I had to pull them back. And then, of course, you got American reinforcements coming on up here from that entry area E. So they're getting pushed back right there, and that German force is not strong enough to deal with those Americans there. The Fallschirmjägers here, when they're not DG'd, they're okay. All right. Bastogne, the Americans have hung on. And 101st did their job, of course, with some of the armored commands that moved in there and helping out, and the 26th Infantry coming on. And then 3rd Armored and 75th Infantry come down here to stop the attempted bypass of Bastogne to the northwest. So, yeah, we're going to call this one game over right here. It's going to be, well, we didn't get our automatic victory, so going to driving to Paris with 60 strength points off the map. So it's an Allied victory. I need to look up what the point things are on this just to make sure, because I did not do that. But regardless, I know it's not going to be a German victory. So, yeah, let's see. Yeah, they needed a bunch of points. They needed at least 19 or better, and they've only got 4 that I can see. So, as far as victory locations. Lessons learned. All right. As per any SCS game that has artillery in it, I think what you have to do is you need to focus the artillery in front of your attacks. You've got to get DGs, and you need to get up this barrage table for points. And when you're shooting at something in the woods or in a town or a village or a city, it's going to go back 1 column. So you need to get some mass points in there. Germans don't get any air. So when I was able to focus the artillery, we would get DGs on Allied units and then be able to attack them with better odds because they're being cut in half. And then when we're out of supply, they're going to be quartered. So that's, I think, one key to the game. You've also got to take, I think, some high risks. You know, maybe take some 2-to-1s or 1-to-1 combats in the first few game turns to try to get a breakout and get rolling. Liege is the most direct objective if you choose that path, but there's a lot of reinforcements that come in over there for the Allies. So I had chose Paris, which was to exit down here at J or on this road right here. And I had a chance to break out, and I blew the chances the Germans to break out because I didn't want to separate. I wasn't using that mobile supply unit the way it should have been used because I felt like I would have left all the attackers around Bastogne sort of hamstrung because they wouldn't have had supply. Unlike the Allies, who all they got to do is go 3 hexes to a road that leads off the map to a supply source. That's all they needed. So yeah, focus the artillery. Punch hard initially. Take the risky attacks. You get a lot of high-powered German units that are only 1-step units. And you know how CS goes. You know, when you attack, your strongest unit's going to take that first step loss. So I had a lot of issues with that where I had good attack odds, and I rolled that 1 dice roll that ended up causing the attackers 2-step losses. And that stings when the Germans got to take 2-step losses. This game also has the strength marker thingies for when you get down to 1 step left on a unit, like you see in, was it OCS or something like that? The little skulls, because they didn't create units that were, they didn't create a third or a second counter for a 1-step unit. Most of the most amount of steps on the unit's 3. All right, so this game was, 1994? Yeah. And I'm going to tell you, I love it. This is a game that I would play again and not send off to somebody because I actually did enjoy it. And eventually I will try it again because I want to apply some of that. Hit as many things as you can fast. Try to, because I think it did a great job as the Germans destroying American units. But like I say, they can just keep filling in. So if you don't punch deep, I think early with the Germans, like somebody said to me, I think it was Eric Walter said, if you're not across the Meuse by the 23rd, dig in, as the Germans. So, well, I'm not anywhere near the Meuse River. Didn't take Bastogne, did take Saint-Vith, did take Houffalize, but that's all she wrote. All right, so let's wrap this one up. I recommend if you do have this, or you can get your hands on this, which is hard to find this game, if you got it, get it out and play it, because this is a very, very good game. Standard combat series, man. I mean, it's like you can't miss with this. So, but yeah, so last year and a half, 2 years of coming back to gaming, this is my favorite Bulge game. All right, this Hexy, let's get this thing posted. German lost. This is my first finish of a game for the 2022, and Yeah, I enjoyed the daylight time. Yeah, I know I started in 2021, but we made it through to 28 December, and let's chalk this one up as game over. All right, talk to y'all shortly.